right, yo, what's up? We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. I fixed a couple of problems with the setup. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Adi. I'm back, and I got my journal here. See, I got a journal. The journal. So what I want to do is I want to talk about. I wrote down a couple of things. This is basically where I store a lot of my ideas, and I used to do a lot more on my phone, but I feel as if doing it this way is just ultimately better. Something about the act of writing it is it's good. I can't explain it, but if I can just find where I was, I should have did this before I started the video. Maybe I'll do the editing. But like I said, I kind of want to just make this vlogging experience more pure so that people can just see, hey, sometimes you just gotta look for shit. I can't believe I don't have it here. I could have swore, where is it? It's not there. We may have to start over because this is just horrible. There's things that I wanted to talk on. We're gonna find it. Just give me a second. Yeah, right here. Okay, so let's start this over. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Ray in the building. I said Ray. I'm sorry. It's a PSN thing. It's a gamer thing. Yes, I used to game a lot. I lie. I still game a lot. Um, what I will say is this. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Adi in the building. Welcome back to Adi's Garden. Today, I want to talk about the method of reprogramming your mind. I want to talk about what I did to reprogram my mind to cultivate a certain mental garden, because that's really what we're doing here. We're cultivating certain things that are worth remembering, and the process I took to actually do that. So I wrote down a bunch of things. I must have wrote this down a couple months ago. Like I felt a calling to write it, and I felt a calling to say it ultimately. So let's get started, yo. I have it here, method to reprogramming. First method I got here is called, first thing is isolation. You want to isolate yourself. I'm blessed because of my certain position. I was able to just isolate myself from everybody and cut everybody off. Cut all my friends off. All my loved ones are pretty much out of the picture, and it's really just me on me. And I'm able to, because of that, I'm able to confront my own energy, confront my own thoughts, confront my own wicked thoughts, good thoughts, sad thoughts. They all end up becoming very important to just deal with, because these latent things that just stay in your subconscious, they come out. What I found out is they come out through our validations. Like when we feel validated to do something, they tend to come out there. Like the wicked aspects of you hide behind your validations. Like like there is something that can happen, like a series of events that can happen that can make you validate to yourself to do something harmful to somebody else. It's very prudent that you stay vigilant of of yourself when you feel justified. That's like one of the most important things. Like when you feel justified, you have to be able to stop yourself. But like, I don't want to get ahead. Let's keep going. Deconstruction. I have deconstruction here. So isolate to deconstruct. I also have meditation, no social media, and fasting. So, and that's like the first chunk. So essentially, what we're doing here is we're trying to cut off the outside world. We're trying to cut off all of our needs and desires. We're trying to say no to everything, especially like the need to eat. You want to say no to everything and be confronted with all that is you in isolation, so you can deconstruct, so you can figure out, so you can confront, so you can break down. You do that all in meditation. When you feel like in when I was doing this, I did a 30-day fast where it was a water fast, and all I did was meditate. And in that time I was meditating, I was eating the sun, meaning like I was sunbathing. I was staring at the sun during certain on certain times of the day, in the morning, early in the morning at sunrise, and at sunset. That's when you're supposed to sun gaze, never during the day. This is what I would do. And the types of changes that I saw during that time frame was a quieting of my mind. But that came after this huge confrontation, like these, well, endless confrontations with myself. I would be, my body, my subconscious mind would trick me into going to the corner store. I would catch myself while walking, ask myself things like, why am I even doing this? Why am I here? I know I'm on a fast. Turn back now. And I would turn back. And then I would have to deconstruct that. Like, who was that? Who who put the clothes on? Who decided to go even though we said no a couple of days ago? I had to confront that. Am I really in control? If I want something, am I actually in control, or is that just my body preconceived into wanting something? I had to like really deconstruct these feelings. These feelings, they were intense and profound, especially in times when I would be in the middle of the fast. I would have these outrageous cravings where I have to eat, and then I did not eat. The craving will go away, and then I would have to be sitting there with this whole profound like realization. Is like, what is even hunger? Like, if I can just withstand the crave, afterwards there's clarity. Not only clarity, but energy. I was like 15, 17 days in, and I had energy. It's probably because I have some weight on me. And you know at that point in my life, I wasn't like working. I was fortunate enough not to be working at that time, and I was able to just focus on me for like a certain couple of months. That phase of just deconstructing my thoughts and confronting my own energy, confronting my ebbs and flows, all my different aspects of myself locked away in the ebbs and flows of life, to confront that on a continuous basis was very profound, because I was confronting myself. And I recommend anybody do this. I don't know if 30 days is going to be good for everybody. If you can do it, then go ahead. But if I recommend at least 12 days. at least a week. You need a good substantial amount of time saying no to all pleasures and just dealing with the connection you've grown to the life you have lived. Like dealing with these pulls, that these things that tug at you. When you say no, what happens? What happens? You need to understand that profoundly. When you say no, what happens to your energy? When What happens to your energy 12 days in and you still have energy? What is that? What are these things that you're feeling? You know what I mean? So I put my hand up because my AI turned off. My AI that looks at me, that keeps, yeah, it turned off when I went like this. I have to make sure I don't do that for too long. But anyway, um the next thing I have here, no social media, which is very, very, very important. Like, very important. No social media. When I was doing that fast, I wasn't on social media. And that was just a way to just stop the endless flood of information coming at you, you know? Wait, hold on. Whoop. Okay, it's on me. Yeah, so it stops the endless wave of information that just is coming at you. Just stop it. Cut it off. Delete the app. You need a certain amount of time with yourself, period. And that's what this is. You're building a connection with yourself and nature, low key. Because, like I said, you're trying to eat the sun, right? So you're building that connection with the with source that everything else is low key taken from, but just in different forms. The next thing I have here is interact with pain, rumination on the highest thoughts, or vice versa. Okay, so on this one, what I would say with this one is, what I would say with this one is, first and foremost, interact with pain. What do I mean? Pain and pleasure are on the same scale, and they're on the same scale but on opposite ends. And there's this gray zone of pain itself, pain and pleasure, where if you if you all right, the best way I can explain this is is like this. This is like a little exercise that I started doing like a year or two ago. Um, I'll be in the bathroom and I would have the shower hit only on my feet, right? And I would turn up the. It would start at like a warm, very comfortable place, and then I will slowly turn up the heat, slowly, 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 until it gets to like near scalding, and I sit in that heat. I sit in in the point where the pleasure has turned near outrageous pain, just to feel pain in a managed state, building a relationship with pain in that way. And by doing that and staying in there, thoughts that are painful begin to arise. It's very weird. Because your mind starts to like correlate the pain to things, especially when it can't escape. When it wants to escape and you're saying no, it has to do something else. It has to try to think about something or do something. You find the same thing that happens in like um in when people take like ice baths, for like athletes that take ice baths. It's We're basically doing the same type of thing where we're growing pain tolerance, which seems weird. Like in this reprogram the mind, why are you growing pain tolerance? Just follow my logic. My exercise is that I use the shower to get to a place of near outrageous pain to build a relationship with outrageous pain. By doing so, thoughts that are painful begin to arise, and I can deal with them within the pain itself. It's like your body can use other vectors of pain as a way to get to deeper pain. And I realized that through years of meditation is that sometimes in meditation, like when your leg falls asleep, sometimes that's a good thing. And sometimes just focusing on that pain, the pain begins to change and it'll turn to pleasure, then it'll turn back to pain. And then you're sitting there wondering, what is pain? Just like how I was wondering, what is hunger? And like these profound states that you get nudged into by doing these exercises, you start to ask, you start to get the realization, which is very important. Because I can tell you about these things, that doesn't matter. The realization and then living in that realization is all that matters, really. It's like what Morpheus said to Neo in the Matrix. There's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. Like now you know of my path, my way of which I'm doing this, but to walk that path, that's different. You'll be given the realizations if you do it properly, right? So that's what I mean by interacting with pain. You're interacting with pain to build a relationship with the aspect of yourself that is in pain. Because you've been like we went through our whole life avoiding pain, avoiding that state of being. And that state of being has been there for us when we're in disarray as infinite awareness. So building a relationship with that state of being will help bring clarity when that state of being arises again in life itself, when it shows itself in life. That's the thought process. Now rumination on the highest thoughts or vice versa, rumination on these lowest thoughts, you are not your thoughts. These thoughts will arise. Allow them to arise. Take interest in your state of being. Notice how thoughts can arise and your emotional state will change. And with it changing, your energy changes. Try and pay attention to when your energy is about to change. Try to pay attention to those moments. Start to realize like your state of beings, they're not set in stone. They come and go. They're like the weather. They just come and go. And when they come, there's thoughts that emanate from that state. And when they leave, the thoughts are gone. But you are a human which that has memory, and you remember your states and you remember your actions and behaviors when you were caught up in that state, right? You need to start to begin to have a disconnection with thoughts and behaviors. The thoughts and behaviors, thoughts thoughts seed behavior. So by stepping back from thoughts and not identifying with thoughts, we're able to make another choice before we get to even behaving. And that's a profound place to be. But people are so caught up in identity of being something that they have been taught, conditioned to be. They don't necessarily see what I'm saying. They don't see the importance. And it's only after you really start to do these things, you start to see the importance. You start living, actually. You start living in reality, while others are just kind of just like they're in reality too. They're here, but they're so caught up in the identity on how to act that they never really live. Um, the next thing we have here I have here argue with the wicked thoughts if compelled. So one of the things that I would do is in moments where I'm angry or in like duress or I'm out of my center and I feel like doing something wicked, you must, in those moments, you must confront yourself with knowledge. Similar to like in fasting, how I had to confront myself with the fact that I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't eat for 30 days. What am I doing? Sometimes you will, like I said, sometimes our worst aspects of ourselves are hidden behind validations. I felt validated to go and break my promise because I'm hungry, right? You have to learn to use knowledge as a way to combat against your own wicked thoughts, your own wicked desires. That's like you have to defeat that aspect of yourself before you end up doing something you're going to regret. All wicked actions sprung from wicked thoughts. The wicked thoughts aren't embedded in the being. They are conditioned through language, through through culture, through society, through experience, through family, through friendship, through enemies, through the idea of enemies within this structure of living. All of this creates the zeitgeist of how you are supposed to act in the moment. And you can get caught up in that continuum of being whatever you are supposed to be in the moment. No, that is not truly being awake. That is you conforming to reality. What of your agency? What of your own will to be a living being? You're filled with these things that have been here before you got here. You have to learn. There has to be a level of discernment over it all, so that you can now create, innovate, and live a life worth living. And that's pretty much what we're doing here. We're taking back agency by cultivating a mind. Um, Observe yourself in every way you can. Try to feel your organs, observe your thoughts. So this ties back into like the basic premise of what I said earlier about just being in isolation, deconstructing, meditation, fasting. You're supposed to be observing yourself, building a relationship with yourself, understanding how your body feels, how it feels to be yourself. If I am really quiet, how intimate can I get with myself? High level meditators, I can account for this. I hate that I said it like that. High level meditators, and I'm gonna make it seem like, listen, I've been meditating for like 6 years. I don't know if that makes me a high level meditator, but I will tell you this: within meditation, you can feel all the emotional spectrum. Everything there is to feel, you can feel it in meditation. You will feel bliss, sadness, pain, joy, anger, all of it. Everything there needs to be felt, you will feel it there. And it's quite profound, and the joy is way better. The sadness is way better. The anger is way better. Like everything is on 10 in meditation. And then after a long time of meditating, you begin to realize that your emotions aren't really for anybody. Like you can share them, but they're really not for anybody really. Like your emotions, the things you feel, The things you think, they're for you. They're for you. They build up this persona that you are cultivating. People, and you are cultivating that part. We're building that you, for you can take back the idea of, hey, I'm infinite awareness, and I can cultivate a mind that leads to a perception of reality that's literally heaven on earth. And it is possible, but it takes a building a relationship with self that is intimate, you know, trusting yourself. That's what we're doing. And it seems like we're doing it from a weird place, or we're starting from like ground zero, but we kind of have to start from ground zero. Um, the next thing I have here is extreme stillness. So this extreme stillness that I got written down. It's really to explain what you're trying to cultivate in your body, what you're trying to cultivate in that 30-day practice, moving on into the life itself. Like, you want to cultivate an, a vibe of stillness in your life. Within that stillness, it's not still. You exist with all of the emergent ebbs and flows of your thoughts and emotions, but to the outside world, you're still. All right? That creates a baseline of being. Like, that stillness creates like this place that you hear a lot of people call it the center. Like, stay in the center, stay in your center, stay in that stillness, free from pleasure or pain. Because remember, like, if pleasure and pain are on that same spectrum, the body low key wants to get rid of it, pleasure and pain. Right? They're both extreme states of being. The body wants to be in center. So, cultivating that center, creating that new baseline of approaching reality and developing a relationship with all the various aspects of yourself and all of the thought processes that you have. And then from there, being able to not be scared of reality to the point where you have to now chase into an ideal, be something you're not, just to just to express yourself within it. No, stand on yourself. Stand on your intimate connection with yourself. Trust yourself, even in painful moments. That's why, you understand? Trust, you feel it. It's there. What else? Just like the fasting, you feel the hunger, it's there. What else? Just like in meditation, you feel the anger, it's there. What else? And it sounds easy to say this now. I'm not angry, I'm not hungry, I'm not this or that. But you have to be able to approach life from the center. You have to be able to approach everything from the center. You are center. You are the center. Everything is like these various aspects of yourself trying to be you. Your center, your infinite awareness. What else we got here? I have focus on breath, subconscious, building understanding with oneself. We went over that. Okay. The next aspect I have here is, I'm not gonna lie, a little further down on this road. These are, again, like, this is my journal, guys. Like, this is what I've been writing for the last couple of years and because I've been doing that, it's filled with ideas that progressively have gotten better. Like I would do things like I'll put like a tag saying, "Oh, 2026," even though I started writing this particular page in 2024 or something, just to see like, oh, I'm updating my own thought process, you know? Like I'm updating everything. And it's awesome. It's just awesome, you know? And what I got here is the next phase to this for me and my spiritual progression. For the most part, what I said is what I did to like get myself right. After that 30 days, I still carried on with the meditation. I still carried on with the deconstruction of my thoughts. It created like this continuous cycle of me just being scrupulous over my own thoughts and thus my own behavior. And that cultivated me into like the person I am. I'm kind of skipping because I want to get to this next part here. Um the next part here that I have just this idea of your higher self. Over the years, I've met a lot of spiritual teachers um, in real life, online. I've had the liberty of running a few of these spiritual clubs or communities, and I've had experiences, and I see how people with the best intentions can be manipulated because of their need to survive. And I never liked that idea. I always wanted to separate spirituality from the need to survive. My perspective was this is not mine. This is something that was given to me by God, right? I was just born with this. I was born with the the proclivity to want to seek out knowledge, to seek out truth. Some people never care, don't even care about that type of stuff. The knowledge seeking is for me. If I go out and I try to help somebody else, yes, my words, my presence can be of use to people, right? Like everybody else. Like, you know, I can be of use. But when it comes down to the spiritual stuff, I just think that if you can do something that helps somebody's life in that spiritual way, just do it. If your heart is in it, just do it. That's the approval, in my opinion. It's like if you feel moved to do. You shouldn't just stand on the principle, oh, they didn't break me off, no money, so I will not help them. No, if you see a being out there in need of help and you can help. I don't like that chastiness with the gift that like yeah, as a spiritual worker or a light worker or a guru, you've cultivated that for yourself. Yes, but I am a strong believer that, hey, like Jesus said, go out there and teach God's way to all creatures. I agree with that. I agree with that. All living creatures, even the dog, everything. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm just saying like I aspire to that. I think that we should all be trying to aspire to that. If we all did, this world would be a better place. Period. And that's something that we would want our children to emulate, right? That's on the same level of the golden rule: treat others as you would want to be treated. So I just I just want to help people from my heart space, not because I need money. I need to get you to need what I got. Like I don't want to do that. I was never that. If someone's in need of help and I am in a place where I can help them, I'll help you. Like that's how I feel. Like that's how this is done. I shouldn't have to proclaim what I am. It should just be self-evident in how I move. And then from there, you feel called to ask, and words are no hindrance to me. Like that's how it should be. That's how that's anyway. So, I say all of that to say that spiritual teachers, they grow like these big egos, and because they grow these egos, they are filled with a lot of vanity. The vanity, the vainness, it kind of weakens you in a weird way. It diminishes that power in a weird way. That power, that boon given to you by reality itself, by God himself, like it weakens you. Some people would think no, it doesn't. It is what it is. I think there's something about I made this poem a couple weeks ago. Maybe I should read it here. It was called The Descent from Vanity. I think it'll do a really good job of just explaining what I'm trying to say. Um, it's kind of long, but fuck it. Just hear it out. It's not that long, but hear it out. Vanity, the great thief, wished to cast my eyes in anguish black, to throw me at the knees of my higher self in the need to be higher, above the petty fears of lesser men, a rebellion against God to be God. But my eyes are suspect. My the crowd's eyes turn against me, a countermeasure for blaspheming to be better. Conversations with debaters turned arguments with naysayers, throwing blows on perceived foes just to show might makes right, and words are like blades of woe, tools of might and awe. Yet I suffer in harmony against harmony for balance among disease, pestilence, and the vermin of the earth. I am the steps, not the rocks. I am progress over morality. I demand perfection in decay. Purity, the great redeemer. Suffering is my muse, compassion is my love face, piercing the hearts of man. My presence is redemption, my tears birth my humanity, my descent from pedestals of vanity. To help my fellow man, my hands become dirty. The poor and the wretched are my brethren. The dirt, nature's tokens of a life worth living in service, saving the token for the voyage of death for another day. To live again in spite the knowing of my fate and the fate of all. My higher self wants to be me. It moves me into my humanity, so I can live in withering bone, masquerading on a stage of persona like a game of life. In the end, we are brothers and sisters in suffering, whether we like it or not. This part right here, my higher self wants to be me. It moves me into my humanity. So, in the beginning of the poem, we went from vanity, the great thief, wish to cast my eyes in anguish black, to throw me at the knees of my higher self in the need to be higher. Like I look at a lot of these spiritual gurus like that. They throw themselves at their higher self, trying to emulate their higher self, trying to be God. Stop trying to be God, right? That's not who you are. In the need to be higher, right? And what I'm saying here at the bottom of the piece is my descent from pedestals of vanity to help my fellow man, my hands become dirty. The poor and the wretched are my brethren. The dirt, nature's tokens of a life worth living in service. So I'm saying, like, my higher self, God Himself, wants to be me when I'm in compassion. That's, I really do believe that. I believe the feeling you get when you do something truly from a place of compassion is God Himself. You are doing God's work. You are now, a, you are like someone asked for a blessing and you came. Like you are God in that moment. But you're not God in the sense of trying to be God. You're God in the sense of just like your actions are God. You know, you're just doing His work. You know, you're God's man. And I think in that sense, it's just so beautiful. And that's why I just think when you go from a place of vanity, when you go from a place of I'm the greatest guru ever, I'm the greatest light worker ever, I save people, I do, like, when you go from that place, yeah, you attract a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't even want to say, I don't, I just, I inherently think there's something wrong with that. Not in the sense of like going to get help, but in the sense of the guru should be someone that is outside the loop of, like, they're human, yes, they have human needs, yes, and they have found a way to put all of those things in balance, and now they have time, they have that space to help others. And I don't know, I don't necessarily want to like judge all gurus that have reached these massive levels of success, but I think you do lose something. You do lose something in there. Um, what else do I have here? I think we're kind of almost done with this. I want to say we're pretty much done. I shouldn't really on thin side body instead should out certain. Um, what I would say about drugs and other medications like weed and DMT and all that type of stuff and mushrooms and stuff. Again, we don't need to go to anything outside the body to really gain a higher understanding, gain enlightenment, gain samadhi, whatever you want to call it. You don't have to do all of these things that are out here in the world. You don't have to. I recommend you can do those type of things like once or twice, but you shouldn't be using those things as a crutch. Now, are there other spiritual gurus that will use those same things as a way to continuously tap into something? Sure. And in their spiritual practice, that's them. But in my spiritual practice, what we're doing here, I would say you don't need those things. In truth, you're surrounded by patterns. You just need to open your perception. You need to just realize what's going on all around you, right? Once you start to realize that, you'll start to realize you don't really even need those things. This reality in and of itself is very interesting. Um, the reason why I say like you can try those things once or twice is that for certain individuals, it's rather hard to just break from this world, especially like normie people, like people that are just extreme in their norms, in their basic monotony of life, and they don't really care about getting out of that monotony. Those people that feel somewhat interested in starting their spiritual journey, I would say, and like those people that are interested in starting the spiritual journey, and also you're just extremely hard-headed and you need something to really break you out of the rut of like all of this supernatural mumbo jumbo is not like, try some mushrooms, right? Try those things, because they're gonna open your mind. They're gonna open your mind. You're gonna be like, whoa, this is possible. What the hell is even this, right? You can try them. I recommend trying them with people that you trust, that people that truly care about you. Do not try them with people that you don't know like that. Don't try them in a place that you don't feel comfortable or safe. You want to try them in a place where you feel comfortable, safe, with people that love and care for you, so that if anything was to happen, you have someone there that can take care of you. That's what you really want when you're dealing with substances like that. And yes, they can help reprogram the brain, definitely. Like if you do these substances and then start the process that I've been speaking on this whole time, you'll get your breakthroughs. You'll get your breakthroughs. But it's not just do this, the process, breakthrough, that's it, back to your. No, you don't go back. You're on a new progression. You have now wiped the slate. Now you need to start a new diet regimen. Now you need to start a new social media algorithm. If you're going to go back to social media heavy, you need to start pruning your account, or make a whole new account and start filling it with like searches that are interesting in this new perception of life that you have now cultivated. There is no going back. If you go back, you're just reinforcing the things that you did before you did all of that work. And that's not what you want. You want to reinforce new things. Especially like if you listen to certain music and you know deep in your soul that music is not good for you. Like it's like you'll know when the music is not good for you when the music is awesome to listen to, yes, but the things that are being said within the music aren't good, and you know that. And subconsciously, it's playing on your subconscious. It's teaching you terms, words, outcomes, identities that you can take when you get into certain states of being. And what have we been cultivating in our in that reprogramming phase? We've been trying to, hey, pay attention to when you change from when you go from one state to the next. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because you need to be able to separate, right? I'm telling you to separate and reintegrate with discernment. Before you integrated and you didn't have discernment, and you were kind of like their boy, like corporate America's boy, and whatever they wanted to like hype you up on is what they can just shoot at your feed, like, right? They just shoot it at your feed to hype you up. But what if you've built a thick skin, so to speak, to your own emotions? Thick skin is not a good word here. What if you built a relationship with all your emotions? Not only the ones that feel nice, the grimy, disgusting ones as well. Why is this important? All aspects are you. You can't just love one side. You have to love the whole thing. If you don't love you and the whole thing of you, why would anybody else? And that indecision of not loving all of you, it bleeds out of you. It bleeds out. But when you find center for you, that radiates out. That's like the Tao is luminous within you. That's what that saying means from the Tao Te Ching. It's like when you can find a center truly for you, the realization is for you. It's not for anybody else. Like when you hear people talk about how they're a guru, this guru A guru, in my opinion, should never be proclaimed by the guru or by the sage or by whatever. People should be moved by you to the point where they just know what you are and they're going to call you what you are. That's how this works. You shouldn't be proclaiming it. Who are you to proclaim anything? That's the ego. That's the ego to you want to stand on it. You stand on it, you will be tested, which is fine. There's this whole other aspect of this life itself where you work yourself to the bone to make yourself peak physically capable to the point where no matter what life throws at you, you have so much confidence in what you have done with your own body, your own temple, your own kingdom that you're in, that it doesn't matter what life throws at you. I am the master of this universe. Like, that's a lot of people who are into like there's some really crazy people out here. There's some really interesting perceptions you can take on reality out here. And the sky is really the limit. You know, the only limit is your perception on reality. That's really the limit. What you choose to believe and what you choose to now walk in. Like Neo, or like Morpheus said, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path, right? It's very true what Morpheus said. I'll say this too. If you go back and watch The Matrix, nearly everything that's said in that movie is like necessary for you to hear on your spiritual journey. Guaranteed. Neo's erupting from the one, that death that he experienced at the end of the movie, that is a death of the old life into the new. What did the Oracle say to him? Anybody remember what the Oracle said to him? Maybe you're in your next life, maybe. Who knows? But people feel when someone says maybe in your next life, you say what? So I need to die and be reincarnated? No. And yes. You have to reprogram your mind. You have to now believe. That is dying. A dying of a perception. And with that, yo, thank you so much for watching, yo. I don't know what I'm gonna call this. I just know we did a lot of talking. How long we been going at it? We've been going at it for a while, but at least an hour. But thank you so much for hearing me out, and I hope my way of thinking, my way of doing things does help people. I'm pretty sure it will. I'm pretty sure. And you know, if you try it, just be careful with yourself. Now, everybody can do 30 days. I recommend at least 2 weeks, 12 to 2 weeks, right? Something like that. So you can get really into your thoughts. Hunger is a disease that will never be sated, bro. It's like it's like this desire that never ends. And that teaches you. Hunger is like the perfect teacher. In a weird way, it teaches you that your desire will never end. Chasing that, yeah, you can win. Yeah, winning feels good. But there's things you're giving up in this thing called desire. And it's like you need to like realize that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks again. Thanks so much for watching. It's your boy Adi. I'm out. Deuces.